What's up, guys? Joe.
How's it going?
Continuing with my dark roast coffee. Thank you, Jason. Alright, so I recently finished a video for Paul. It was another fucking long ass tutorial that he put together. I think it's like the final part of his how to build a PC, right? That was part 4. So these videos, for the most part, most of his videos, it take me like a day, right, to like edit and put together, like the way how we produce videos, right, how he films it and all that. And it takes me one day to edit it and deliver it. This guy, on the other hand, it took me almost like 3 days ish, you know. It took about 3 working days just about to like get this video done, right? And as you can see, there's a lot of editing. This is like about a 30-minute video, 31 minutes, right? So originally this video, the footage was almost like 2 hours long, and I had to edit it down to this length, to 31, right? That's what it ended up being, right? Now, part of the reason why it was so long, the footage, you know, the raw footage, when I had it all laid out in the timeline, is because there was a lot of parts that Paul was installing software, so he had to wait. Here's an example. So say, you know, when like he installs the software and, you know, you see like the progress bar go from 0 to 100%. So there are parts where like I did like a bit of a time lapse, right? Because Paul recorded the whole progress of like the installation of particular software, right? So that's basically what I did. I just sped up those times so people can see the progress bar, right? Pretty much the whole point of me editing this video is that I was trying to like show the whole progress as much as possible, in the sense of like from installing from a blank empty computer to the whole completion of like installing software, right? And I wanted to make sure I included that progression of the software being installed, right? So, you know, that progress bar from like 0% to 100, at least for me, it made sense to like include it, right? Since Paul pretty much filmed all that. So yeah, a lot of the footage, it was long. Like I said, it was close to like 2 hours or so. It was just raw footage, but a good chunk of that was just like, you know, him recording the screen of the software being installed, right? So in this situation, as you can see here, it starts at like, I don't know, 3%, but we play it. Installation. All right, so that was a quick, right? But again, that's because I did a time lapse, and if you like see it right here, it's like over like 7,000%, right? Or actually more than that. Holy shit, 72,000% speed increase, right? Just to get that little progress bar. Boom. So yeah, that's a lot of work, right? I did a lot there, and like, yeah, there's like a few of those like situations where I did that. Yeah, I guess here's another spot. Yeah, I did like another little section here. Something I did also is that like for the most part, since this is going to be a tutorial, maybe this is something that I also kept in mind, is that when I watch a tutorial, for the most part, for time reasons, I learned to like increase the speed of the video itself, right? Especially for this video, because it's gonna be a 30-minute video. Since you're able to increase the playback speed on YouTube, right? I figured people are gonna want to do that, especially with a 30-minute video, right? So I added music in the beginning of the video, but towards the end of it, I didn't add nothing, right? No music, for that reason, because, you know, music sped up sounds bad. But I didn't want to like leave this blank, so all I did was like I just increased this part where Paul was silent over the areas where they increased the speed, right? Just to have some kind of like audio information, even though Paul's not speaking, just having that background noise does help, in my opinion. The thing I wanted to show you in this video is that like when I was doing that, increasing like the speed of like the software being installed, there were some problems that I had. I put aside one of like the longest screen caps that Paul had when he was doing like the software installation, right? So this screen cap by itself is almost 8 gigabytes, right? Now if I drop this guy in here, new bin, let's just say speed increase, and I'm just gonna drop this footage in here, right? Now if I drop it in here, now you can see how long this clip is, right? It's massive, right? So let's see, let me get to the part where they pause installing the software. As you see, yeah, basically he's creating a Windows disk install. So I think that's what he's doing at this part. So it starts here, right? It's at 0%, the progress bar. And I'm gonna cut that part. And I'm gonna go all the way towards the end where like, oh yeah, that's right. There's a part where like it crashed. So we had to start all over. Oh yeah, there you go. Something happened. So anyways, let's cut that part out. So it goes from 0, keep it going, and it gets to like around here. It's creating a USB Windows disk install. So then once it completed, it went black, or he cut it, we don't know. The thing is, like, I want to show again that part of like the progress, right, of like the software or disk being created, right? Now, here's where things get a little tricky. Now, I'm gonna delete the audio, because, you know, when something gets increased way too much, it just sounds terrible, so there's really no point. But the thing is that like because Premiere is a piece of shit. The playback speed can be pretty bad when you're trying to like play back a screen capture, right? Certain like footage does not play back well in Premiere Pro, that's for sure. So obviously normal playback speed, very slow, right? Just to get up to 1%, it takes fucking forever. So it's like, yeah, that's boring. Nobody wants to see that. If you go to your Windows, your tools over here, and you go to the rate switch, you click on that, and what that does is that you are, instead of like adding values, instead of doing like the right click, do speed and duration, and then right here you can say you want to like increase it to like, I don't know, let's just say 1000%, right? At an extra 0. It does that for you, right? You can do it that way, but you can use this tool, so now you can like click and drag exactly how much you want to increase or decrease like the speed of the clip, right? I tend to use this more, honestly, because it gives me more of a visual of how much, how long the clip itself is gonna be, right? It just like, it's a lot easier for me. And particularly this situation, because all you see is like that progress bar and you don't see anything else, right? So for the most part, you know, for the sake of that video, I just want to be able to like, you know, keep it super short, right? Now, here's the thing about doing that in Premiere Pro is that like the playback gets choppy. You won't be able to see any progress whatsoever when you want to like work, right? So if I hit play, see, you don't see nothing. Nothing's happening. You don't see like the progress whatsoever, right? So you have like no idea what it looked like visually. So that was a problem I was having. I was trying to increase the speed of this part of like the video, but the playback was not happening because it was so fast, and like Premiere Pro couldn't keep up, right? So let me see, let me undo that. Let's go to right click, speed and duration. I'm just gonna go back to 100%. Oh yeah, look at that. This is something else that like Premiere Pro does. I want to type in 100%, but for some reason it always does the 2.8 bullshit for some reason. Let's do that. All right, there you go. So this is like the thing I did to like basically skip that part or to like fix this situation. You want to nest it. So select it, right click, nest. Let's just say speed increase 1. And now this is nested, right? And now if I was to get that that tool, the rate stretch tool, and I increase this, see now what happens is that like you get like a red bar over here, because originally if you drop the footage, do like the speed increase, see like the footage by itself, you have a yellow bar, so that means it's basically it's good to go, you know, footage, right? And this one, it gets red. So what happens is when you have like this red bar on top of your timeline, that means that you need to render it out to create previews, right? Now if we go to sequence, then sequence settings, and we go here to like the video previews, I use the frame only MPEG 720p but 1280 by 720p, right? Kind of like a small file size. When this part renders out, it's gonna render using an MPEG format at this resolution, right? Usually when I render out like a previews, I do it like a low resolution just for like time reasons, right? So you wanna check those settings in your sequence, right? Another thing you wanna do actually is that if you go to project settings and you go to scratch disk, the video previews that I just showed you that it's gonna create when you render something, you wanna have a pretty much a specific destination for it. Try to keep everything away from your main like startup disk, right? That's why usually for the most part, if you noticed, I have a lot of like SSDs connected to my computer, right? Because each SSD has its own specific job, right? In my settings, in my project settings, I actually have a SSD specifically designed for cache files, and as you can see, there's like a lot, right? Because obviously since I edit a lot, it produces a lot of cache files and then previews, so it gets all directed to this SSD, right? So yeah, you definitely want to do that, you know, or else it's just going to eat up your damn like startup disk, and it's going to slow you down. You don't want that. So now this thing's good to go. Now let's just I'm going to increase it a little bit more. Now I'm going to hit render, and it's going to like create that like it's going to create those render preview files. Hit enter. Oh, that's another thing. It's not working because like it's not underneath like the render bar, this thing, which is kind of dumb. Whatever. Now that I move this guy, hit render, there you go, now it works. Let's give that a while. Alright, that's done. So yeah, now if I play this back, look at that. See how it turned green here? That means that like the render previews are, you know, are there and are made, so it's good to go. So now if I can play this back, see how it plays back smooth, so you can see the progress, right? So yeah, that's something I had to do for like this video, parts in particular, because there was a lot of that. Just a lot of software and, you know, stuff was being like installed and created and so on and so forth. I had to like basically do a lot of that time-lapse speed increase to show the progress of like the software being installed and so on and so forth, right? Just to keep the video moving. And just so you know, people don't get confused if I was to like jump around, you know, skipping those parts, because like I think seeing that progress of like software being installed, it does help the visual person know what to expect once it's done or how it looks like and so on and so forth. I don't know, just to like not give like the feeling that like parts were being skipped, right? So that was pretty much the whole point of me like doing the whole speed increase for software installation. All right, there you go. That's pretty much what I did for that video. If you found the video helpful, here's some QR codes. Appreciate it. Or if you want to send me coffee, just go to my About tab in my homepage, and you can find my personal mailbox there. You can like send me some cool coffee. I'm down with that. Anyways, that's all I got for you. I hope the video helped you out, and thanks for hanging out for a bit. Talk to you later. Peace.